As property investors, we always face challenges and things that hold us back from actually achieving what we do. So in today's video, I'm going to break down the 5 most common challenges investors face and how you can overcome them. Recognition of these challenges is really the first step to overcome all of them. You've got to understand what it is that is holding you back and how you can overcome that in order to continue moving forward. The reality of the situation is no matter where you are in your journey, whether it's your first property or whether it's your 10th property, it doesn't matter. There's always going to be some challenges and you need to learn to overcome them, because there's one thing that's for certain: you can't save your way to financial freedom. So you need to take action and you need to make sure that you set yourself up so that you can actually take action and move closer to where you want to be in the future. So here's the 5 most common challenges. The first one is no mentor or coach. Just about every single person I talk with in a strategy session tells me that they don't have a mentor or coach. This can be really difficult because this is going to be one of the biggest decisions that you make in your life. And without that support, without somebody teaching you how to do it properly, it can be extremely daunting and extremely overwhelming. So a lot of challenges are actually because people don't have the right support there. Now, the beautiful thing about living in 2020 is the fact that there is so many different resources and platforms that we can use to have a mentor and have a coach. There's podcasts, there's YouTube channels, there's books, there's blogs. There's so many different things that you can do to get that support. But obviously a lot of people want that one-on-one interaction, want that one person that they can go to that's got the experience and that they can trust that they're going to keep the best interest at the top of their mind. So no mentor or coach can be really difficult. When you're going out there to find one, obviously there's lots of different buyer's agents out there. You know, we're buyer's agents ourselves and we do completely different things to what other buyer's agents do as well. So just make sure when you're searching for that mentor or coach, you're asking the right right questions and you're finding somebody that you have a value alignment with. I think that's super important. Make sure that you do find yourself a mentor or coach, because you don't need to do this alone. And it can be so much more difficult when you are doing it alone. The second one, which is quite coupled with that, is no social support or no community of like-minded people. Once again, this comes up almost every single time I have a conversation with somebody. So what I mean by no social support or no community of like-minded people is you don't have people in your network of friends, family, colleagues that you can connect with and that you can talk with about your investment plans. And this is really important to be able to sanity check your ideas and make sure that you're focusing on the right things. So it can be really difficult. There is great platforms out there like the Property Chat where you can connect with other like-minded people, but it is kind of important to find yourself surrounding yourself with people that you can talk with about investing, that you can run ideas by. You know, I've got some friends in Sydney that talk about not having a community or not having a social support, and a few of my friends have actually put in contact with one another and said, okay guys, well, why don't you talk with one another, because you're all suffering from the same challenge right now. Like, let's catch up, let's talk about these things. You know, let's go out for lunch once a month. Let's talk about this sort of stuff and put things to the table, regardless of whether it's property or shares or business. Just having meaningful, powerful conversations with your social network and with your community of like-minded people is super important. You know, you can't tell me that there's nobody in your life that's interested in moving forward and investing and creating a better life for themselves in their future. You've just got to find those people. So that's the second one. The third one, which is a really big one right now in 2020, is I'm not sure whether it's the right time to buy. Understandably, you know, if you're just watching the news out there, it probably seems like Armageddon is coming. But the reality is, when you look at the market and when you look at the data, you know, there has been some amazing opportunities out there right now. So, you know, there's only one way to overcome this, and it is research. It's researching history, it's researching the data, it's looking toward the right resources, and it's actually understanding how the economy works and how the property market actually works as well. There's people out there like Warren Buffett, like Ray Dalio, like Phil Anderson, like Tony Robbins, all of these big dog investors, and they all say there is no right time to get into the market because it's always the right time to get into the market. But obviously you want to try your best to time it perfectly. You know, when you're looking at markets like Sydney or Melbourne right now, they're sort of 60 to 100% more expensive than they were 10 years ago. They've recently gone through a very strong growth cycle. So do I think it's the right time to be buying in those markets? Maybe not. But when you look at other markets like Brisbane, like Adelaide, like Perth, that haven't seen the same short-term growth that Sydney and Melbourne have, then it's a completely different scenario. Right now, we're buying properties in Brisbane that are more affordable today in 2020 compared to 12 years ago when you factor in inflation. So, you know, types of opportunities like this definitely make sense, and there are some great buying opportunities. So just make sure that you do your research, make sure you understand history, make sure that you understand property cycles. And if you're worried if it's the right time to buy, it's always the right time to buy as long as you're purchasing the right thing. Now, the fourth challenge that most investors face is not knowing what to buy and not knowing where to buy. This can be really difficult without the right knowledge and without the right understanding of the market. The thing is with Australian property is it's performed so well for such a long period of time. So every single asset has increased in value and people have made lots of money from it. So there's lots of different opinions, there's lots of different strategies, there's lots of different ways of getting to the same place, which is essentially financial freedom. So what you need to make sure that you do is understand where your passion lies. What is of value to you? Do you want to be doing big risky developments? Do you want to be looking for short-term deals? Or are you a little bit more conservative like I am and you just want to employ a low-risk strategy, a long-term strategy where you want to get to where you want to be? You know, a couple of things here in terms of what to buy and where to buy. There was a study done by CoreLogic where they compared the performance of houses to units over a 25-year period. And what was found is that the houses outperformed the units by 96% over the last 25 years. So there you go, houses over units. There was also a study done by the same company, CoreLogic, where they looked at the 7 capital cities in Australia, so the 7 metro markets, and they compared them to the performance of the 7 largest regional markets throughout Australia over a 20-year period. What was found is that the metro markets outperform the regional markets by over 85%. Not rocket science. You focus on the high quality metro markets. You focus on the areas that get the good population growth, that get the good job growth, that get the good infrastructure growth. On top of this, there's also data to suggest, which was done by Michael Matusik, where he looked at the proximity to the CBD. So in these metro markets, how does your asset perform depending on where you are in the city? And there's data to suggest the closer that you are to the city, the better the long-term capital growth has been. So there you go, buy houses in quality metro markets as close to the city that you can afford. That really makes it a lot easier. But then you also need to, have your long-term plan, understand where it is that you're working towards. Don't just go out there buying properties willy-nilly because you've got the money to do it. Make sure you create the plan. Make sure you develop a strategy. Make sure you stick to that strategy in order to achieve your goals. Now, the fifth one is something that's come up a lot through this video already, and it's I don't have a plan. Now, most challenges stem from this, because if you don't have a plan, how the hell are you meant to know what you're supposed to do? So creating a plan is so important. The easiest way to do this is go, okay, well, why am I doing this? Why is the first question. You need to understand why. Then you also want to know how this property is getting to where you want to be in the future. Now, a good place to start is I want to replace my current income within the next 15 years. Be realistic with yourself. If you haven't done anything to date, what makes you think that you can be financially free in 5 years? Be realistic, understand what you've achieved to date and how long you realistically think it's going to take you to achieve financial freedom. If you can replace your income, all you need to do is go, okay, well, if I'm looking to replace, let's call it $80,000 to $100,000 worth of income, you go, okay, that's my plan. How many properties do I need to hold in order to achieve that? In terms of the rental income minus the debt, you reverse engineer that back to what do I need to do today in order to get one step closer. Creating a plan can be difficult. It can be hard because there's so much information and data out there, because there's so many different opinions and strategies. So if you are struggling with that one and you are ready to get into the market and you don't want to make a mistake, or you are suffering from some of these challenges, then head over to our website, www.pumpedonproperty.com, and follow the links to book in your free strategy session. What we'll do during this strategy session, which will either be with myself or my brother Ben, we'll talk about your current situation. We'll talk about your goals, both short-term and long-term. We'll discuss your challenges and the things that are currently holding you back. We'll help you create a long-term plan, and we'll help you reverse engineer that back so that you understand exactly what you need to do next. You know, this is the thing, you're not alone in this. There is support out there. You just got to be willing to ask for it and find those people that can help support you. So there's the 5 most common challenges. The first one being no mentor or coach. The second being no social support. The third being I'm not sure if it's the right time to buy. The fourth being I don't know what or where to buy. And the fifth being I don't have a plan. So make sure you understand the challenges that you face and make sure that you create a plan to overcome these ones. Thanks so much for listening, guys. Please hit the like button below. Hit the subscribe. We would love to continue sharing our content with you. And as always, please leave a comment below. Let me know what your thoughts are. Thanks so much for tuning in.